What is up, everybody? It's Nick Ehrlich from Archetype Wellness, and it is time for our video for this beautiful, cold, wet, slushy, post-snowy morning for everyone here in Baltimore. We had a nice little surprise November snowstorm yesterday. It was great. If you were somewhere where you could actually sit and watch it, if you had to drive, not so great, but regardless, it's Friday. So I told you guys we're going to do some different nutritional stuff today, which is exactly what we're going to focus on now in this video. You'll also see in the email where I sent you this link, I have a couple documents. I told you I was going to make you do a little bit of work today. I'm going to hold true to that. So if you want to have these documents, I actually have them printed out right here because we're going to go through them together. If you want to print them out and work on them, feel free to pause this video and go do that. If you just want to have them up to reference them and then print them out later, also totally fine, okay? But we are now getting into crunch time, right? Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. By the way, reminder, Thanksgiving morning boot camp here in Cockeysville at 8 a.m. It is going to be a blast. You are invited, your friends are invited, your family's invited, okay? But after Thanksgiving, we go right into the holiday season, and it is like no breaks, all downhill, time to go for the rest of the year. I'm going to frame myself up a little better here. And so now we got to really focus on how well we're damage controlling, our eating, our exercise, all those kind of things. So everything I set you in these documents is all meant to work on damage control, nutrition mainly, but also a little bit of exercise stuff, okay? So this is what we're going to go through today. Reminder, once again, we have our Thanksgiving Day boot camp here at Victus Athletic in Cockeysville, Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Everyone's welcome. It's free. We're taking non-perishable food donations. We're taking winter weather coats and accessories to donate to our friends at Flow Giving. So all that stuff's going on Thanksgiving. I hope you can make it. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about this morning is this first document, okay, which says, I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right, how we are going to choose our own adventure. Now, we have a lot of stuff coming up, whether it's dinners, luncheons, parties, food in the office, all that kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter is that we could be kind of idealistic and say, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm going to stay on my program, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, like, that's not a true thing to say. Like, you're probably going to have some junk food. You're probably going to have a couple drinks. You're probably going to go somewhere where you're going to decide you want to cut loose for dinner. That's all totally fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But we just want to make sure that we are putting these stopgaps in place to make sure that we are controlling all of that kind of festivity-based eating so that we're not just going completely off the rails every day. Because I think, we've talked about it before. That's kind of how that snowball thing comes into place, right? Where, you have a bad breakfast, then a bad lunch, then a bad dinner, then you're eating before bed. Then the next day you just say, screw it, I'm going to do it again. And you kind of continue to snowball through that stuff. I think we can all agree that that's not the most advantageous way to do the holidays because that's how you end up gaining, 5, 10, 15 pounds over the Thanksgiving to New Year's kind of break. So today is going to be specifically focused on how we damage control all that stuff, which means that we're going to go into our first document here, which is, I'll make sure it's totally framed up here, how to pick your poison, okay? So you see we have a little flow chart here, and we have 3 options. We have alcohol, we have appetizers, and we have desserts. So, typically at a holiday function, you're going to have the option to have a couple drinks, all right, eat a bunch of appetizers, and then have a couple great desserts. Forget dinner. Dinner is like a free space in this one, whether it's lunch, dinner, whatever. You're going to pretty much have these 3 options. So, quite frankly, one of the ways that people go off the rails during the holiday time is they kind of go nuts on all 3 of these options, okay? One of the best ways to limit your indulgences this holiday season is for any particular event, pick one of these 3 options, and that's going to be what you go with for the rest of the event. So maybe you decide you're going to have dessert after dinner because they've got some awesome dessert coming out, right? Maybe you decide that you're going to have Butler hors d'oeuvres or you're going to have some kind of appetizers because that's what's out and they look really, really good. Or maybe you decide, I'm going to have a couple drinks, I'm going to have a couple glasses of wine, but that's going to be my indulgence. Don't let all 3 of these things happen at the same time regularly because this is very easy. I mean, look, if we have, 2 or 3 drinks, if we have a bunch of appetizers, if we have one really big dessert, any one of those things can very easily add, 600 to 800 calories to your day in a quick shot. You know what I mean? So when you do all 3 of those things together, now you're talking about 18 to 2400 calories that you're taking in excess, and no one really needs that much. You don't need an extra 2400 calories. I don't care how great your elliptical session was that day, right? So Picking one of these three things is going to be the first thing that we're going to do to really make sure we're damage controlling the holiday. So at any moment in time, make sure that you're deciding, am I going to have a couple drinks? Am I going to crush some appetizers? Or am I going to have a really good dessert? And then limit it to that one thing for the event. Okay, so that's number one. Do your best. Again, you know, it's not black and white. There's a huge gray area here, and we just want to make sure that you're doing your best all the time. So that's our first thing. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is pull up this schedule, all right, that we had before, okay? And you see what we have here is we have across the top all the days of the week, and down the side, we have your breakfast, your morning snack, your lunch, your afternoon snack, and your dinner. So what we have here is basically all the opportunities that you're going to have to eat during the week. So you can go in here and write, this is what I'm going to eat for breakfast on Saturday, on Friday, on Thursday. You can go through just like that. So the first thing I want you to do with this, and you can use this every week. You can print this out. In fact, I'm going to include a PDF of just this document in this email that you got, so that you can just print out. If you want to print out a stack of these, go nuts, and you can kind of plan for the next 6 weeks if you want to, right? I'm a planner. I like doing that. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and fill in. I'm sorry, it moves opposite to how I'm sitting, so it always throws me a little bit, right? I want you to go through and I want you to write down all the stuff that you know is going to be bad, okay? So let's say you have a work party on Thursday night where that's going to be your dinner. I want you to go ahead and draw a big X through this box, all right? Because you have no control over that meal. You're going to damage control it the best that you can, but ultimately, you don't know what you're getting that meal. It's going to be whatever they serve, and quite frankly, you're going to want to relax, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to go through this document, and I want you to go ahead. I think that should be fully free. Now, and you have 7 days a week. A really, really good meal. So when you think about it in those kind of terms, it's actually kind of easy to damage control your holiday. Even if you're having a bad dinner Monday through Friday, you still have all these other chances to eat a healthy meal, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write all of your conflicts into this document, okay? X out the boxes you have no control over, X out the boxes that you know are going to be bad, or quite frankly, if you know you're going to have a cheat meal, if you know you're going to a football game on Sunday, if you know you're doing something on Saturday that you're going to want to relax, just go ahead and X that out, okay? So look at this sheet, X out all the stuff that you know you have no control over, okay? So that's number one. The next thing you're going to do on this box is, in these boxes, is I want you to start locking down all the stuff that you know that day there is no reason why you should not have the ability to control that meal. So maybe, and by the way, this is true for most people, breakfast 7 days a week should be a box that you tick through easy, like easy. You should be able to be like, I'm having oatmeal, 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 and you should be able to go through the whole thing. Not many people have breakfast meetings or breakfast parties or breakfast events. If you do, that's fine. Exit out. But for the other 6 days, the other 5 days that week, go ahead and write what you're doing. Next, your morning and afternoon snacks are another huge opportunity for you to take control of your food, right? So if you're having a morning snack or an afternoon snack, go ahead and write down what that is, because that's something you can definitely control. Not many parties are snack parties. If they are, if you have a snack party, write me. I'd be very interested to hear what that's like, all right? But go ahead and lock down all those snack events, all right? So you can go ahead and say, hey, I know that I'm going to have an apple and a handful of almonds, or I know I'm going to have a Quest bar, or I know I'm going to have a protein shake, whatever. Just go ahead and write all those things down, okay? Then, when you have all the stuff you know you can control, I want you to write, ideally, what you're doing at every other opportunity. So, if you're trying to pack your lunch every single day, write, Monday through Friday, I'm going to pack my lunch except the days that I have lunch parties. But you're going to use this calendar to start figuring out how much you can control. Because I think once you put all this stuff down on paper, you start to see that you have a lot more control over your program than you originally thought, right? Originally, you might think like, oh man, I've got so many things, I've got no control over what I'm eating. That's not true. You've got plenty of control. You're just thinking about the 5 or 6 times during the week that you have none, and you're ignoring the 29 or 30 times a week that you do have the option, okay? So, again, take another minute, look this over, okay, and you're going to fill this out. Now, moving on to page 3. Here is your sheet of stuff, all right? So, when you are having a big meal, when you are having like a party, cut loose kind of an event, all right, you're naturally going to want to set some limitations for that meal. You can't just go no holds barred. the rest of the night's going to be junk. You have to control yourself, okay? You can't just be off the rails. So the first question is, what is your time limit for your big meal? So let's say you're going to a work party, and let's say they're going to serve dinner. They're going to start hors d'oeuvres at 6:30. They're going to start dinner at 7. Dinner's dessert's coming out at 8. Whatever, right? Maybe it's just open buffet style. Maybe it's just a house party where there's food out. Doesn't matter. I want you to give yourself a time limit for that event that you are going to eat, drink, consume. All right, and I want you to stick to that time limit because that's a very, very important way to damage control what it is that you're trying to do, okay? So what is your time limit for that event? Are you going to give yourself an hour? Are you going to give yourself 2 hours? Whatever your time limit is for that event, I want to make sure that you put a hard stop on yourself at the end of whatever time limit you have set, okay? So what is your time limit for that meal? That's number one. Number two, what is your indulgence? Okay, this mirror thing is really messing me up, guys. I'm so sorry. All right, so the question next is, what is your indulgence? Okay, what are you going to have that's going to be special about this meal? So is it going to be that you're going to have, an appetizer? Are you going to have a couple drinks? Are you going to have dessert? Doesn't matter. Just write down, what is your indulgence going to be? Okay, and decide ahead of time. Don't decide on the fly. Don't decide when you're there, because think about this. Quick decisions are usually not the best decisions, okay? Quick decisions are usually bad. That's why they call it fast food, right? It's like not the greatest option that you have to yourself. So what is going to be your indulgence, right? The third question you have right here is, have you locked down the rest of your day, okay? Did you go to this sheet and figure out how you are controlling the rest of your day? So if you're going to have a really bad lunch on Tuesday, okay, great. No big whoop, right? Have you locked down everything else on Tuesday to give yourself the best possible chance of adhering to your program despite the fact that you're in this holiday schedule, all right? So the third question with this is, have you locked down the rest of your day? Easy to do. You just got to use the table. And then finally, how are you recovering from this meal? So I want to be careful that I'm not suggesting that you have to go like slam a workout session after a cheat meal. I don't think that's the case. And by the way, I think that, that kind of making sure that you're going to go hit the treadmill for an hour after a big dinner, I think sometimes that can be kind of dangerous eating behavior in terms of, unhealthy habits. However, I do think usually it's a good idea to do some form of exercise before or after your big indulgences like that, just to get those things to start to move through your system, okay? So again, I don't suggest that you go from, a holiday dinner party and then you go to the gym and you jam out 2 hours on the stepper. I don't necessarily think that's healthy behavior, right? However, I do suggest that you do, a walk around the block, a walk around the neighborhood. Maybe you do like a quick little home circuit with some push-ups and some squats just to get your metabolism going again, and also to start moving those nutrients through your system a little bit, right? We don't want to just dump a bunch of stuff in our stomach and then pass out, right? I mean, obviously that's easy to do, right? But we don't want to necessarily do that. We want to start moving those things a little bit. So maybe on Thanksgiving Day, maybe you wake up, you come to Victus Athletic, you crush a boot camp with us in the morning, you get a great post-workout shake-in, you go home, you eat a reasonable lunch, and then before your Thanksgiving dinner, you take a walk, you go play some football, maybe you eat dinner early at like 3 or 4, maybe afterwards you guys go take a walk around the block, or you go do something as a family. Doesn't matter, but just how are you getting some activity from that meal? Also, let's make sure that we're hydrating properly. Let's make sure that we're not just doing beer, wine, spirits, and then, like any other drinks that are out there. Make sure that you're hydrating through that meal, because that's also going to help you from retaining water the next day. The more you hydrate throughout your meal, the more you're going to prevent that kind of bloated feeling you have the next day. And if you've never had that bloated feeling the day after Thanksgiving, I would suggest that you are not doing Thanksgiving hard enough, okay? Because quite frankly, everyone should feel a little bit like a water balloon after Thanksgiving. That's kind of the point of the holiday, right? But make sure that you are recovering or preparing from that meal in some capacity, okay? So there's page 3, which is, what's your time limit for your meal? What is the indulgence that you have selected for said meal? Have you locked down the rest of your day? And finally, how are you recovering, or how are you preparing, I should have said, for that meal? And then finally, the last page. This is the most important part, okay? Let it go. It's okay. It's okay to have a holiday. It's okay to have a cheat meal. It's okay to spend some time with friends, to get some good food in, to have a couple drinks, to chill out, to relax, to have a good time and enjoy yourself. That's the whole point of the holiday season, not to get too romantic about this. The point of the holiday season is to spend time with your friends and your family and your loved ones and the people that you spend time with, and being grateful and being thankful for the things that you have around you. I don't want you sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner table and saying, oh man, now I'm having turkey, I'm having stuffing, I'm having green bean casserole, I'm going to have to do so much work for this. Forget that. Enjoy that meal, okay? All of this stuff that we just went through, this is all meant to not only put you on a schedule, but give you some peace of mind so that you can look up when you're having that Thanksgiving dinner or when you're at that office dinner party and you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to enjoy myself this meal. I'm not going to worry about it. I've set limitations for myself, but inside of those limitations, I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to cut loose a little bit because you don't get the opportunity to do this all the time. You know, I said going into this that I want to make sure that we are setting up some healthy habits for the rest of the year, that we are getting ourselves in a good routine so that come January with some of the surprises we have coming, we're already in a little bit of an exercise rhythm, and that we are damage controlling the holidays, right? We're not damage preventing the holidays, we're damage controlling the holidays. You should have a big Thanksgiving dinner. You should have a couple big holiday parties. You should have a day where you just, relax and cut back and eat the stuff that you enjoy to eat, even if it isn't the healthiest option. I want to make sure that we are letting that be the exception, not the rule, but when it is the exception, that we are enjoying the exception, okay? Enjoy the process. Enjoy this holiday season. Enjoy next week. We are not going to do a video on Black Friday, okay? I want you guys to either be at home recovering or in the gym or, if absolutely necessary, shopping, but you can do most of that from home anyway, so who cares? All right, so you're not going to have a video next Friday. We are doing our charity boot camp here on Thursday on Thanksgiving morning at 8 a.m. at Victus Athletic. We're taking non-perishable food donations. We're taking winter weather and accessories to go out, coats and accessories to go out to those less fortunate this holiday season. Please come, please donate, please be a part of this stuff. For all of you who are planning on going on our hike tomorrow morning, we are actually probably going to have to cancel it because I'm going to go check later today, but I've heard that all the trails we were going to go on are pretty washed out from the storm we had yesterday. So unfortunately, we're canceling our hike tomorrow morning. I think we'll probably have a gym session anyway, but check our Facebook page about the updates about that. I would love to have you guys be a part of it. Thank you so much for checking this out. Stay with this challenge. We got a couple more weeks left in this year, and don't forget, someone is coming home with $500 at the end of this challenge, as long as you're sticking to things. Thanks for checking us out. We will talk to you soon. Later.